Good evening. The UFC organization was notified tonight that the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency has informed Jon Jones of a potential anti-doping policy violation stemming from an out-of-competition sample collection on June 16th, 2016. USADA, the independent administrator of the UFC anti-doping policy, will handle results management and appropriate adjudication of this case. It is important to note that under the UFC anti-doping policy, there is a full, fair, legal review process that is afforded to all athletes before any sanctions are imposed. However, because Jones was scheduled to compete against Daniel Cormier this coming Saturday, July 9th in Las Vegas, there is insufficient time for a full review before the scheduled bout, and therefore the fight has been removed from the fight card. As a result, the 3-round heavyweight bout between Brock Lesnar and Mark Hunt will become UFC 200 main event. Consistent with all previous potential anti-doping violations, additional information or UFC statements will be provided at the appropriate time as the process moves forward. Thank you, guys.
Wow.
Mr. Nowitzki is famous.
Yeah.
In all the Balco investigation. He was the guy that Conte, Bonds, everybody that went after that. He was the guy that was very big, and now obviously front and center in this story with Jon Bones Jones out of UFC 200 Saturday night.
Of course, tested positive 30 days before UFC 182. That was for cocaine metabolics. So we don't know if this is similar, or there's been some accusations of PEDs. Had a big weight gain recently. Of course, any sport, anybody, that's always the first accusation. Nowitzki there to try to clean up maybe the UFC. And so this is some shocking news tonight. Bones will not be fighting in Las Vegas at UFC 200.
Nowitzki makes the announcement. Dana White, head of the UFC, has to answer the questions.
You know, like Kevin, I was at dinner too when I got the call, and I literally, like, Jesus Christ, I must have jinxed myself, because I kept going, everything is going so smooth, everything is going so smooth, and nobody had been hurt. You know, everybody was healthy. So yeah, this was a pretty brutal phone call.
How long does it typically take for it to come back and for sure say yes, this was what he tested?
Yeah, apparently he was tested in June. In June, at some point in June, he was tested. So yeah, like I said earlier, when something tests positive, when it comes up, they just run it through a bunch of different tests to make sure. They never give a result unless they've really tested it.
And in your experience so far with that, how long has it taken until it finally comes back? I mean, when might we get an answer?
Well, now, you know, I think John, again, don't quote me on this, I'm not the guy for this, but he has the ability to test the B sample. And he can have a representative there. He can be there himself, however he wants to handle that.
And you said, I think you told Kevin, you don't know if the B sample has been tested yet?
It has not.
Has not been tested.
Right, because John was just notified. So it wouldn't be tested without his knowledge and his, you know, his ability to be there or have a representative be there when they test it.
You haven't talked to John yet. What would you say to him if you could?
I haven't talked to him.
What would you say to him if you could talk to him?
I don't know. We'll see what he says to me.
How hard is it to have trust in him, particularly just because it's such a big stage and such a big fight going forward?
It's funny, man. I did the Jim Rome show today, and Jim Rome asked me about, you know, Jon Jones and where he's at, considering all the things that happened to him. And I said, I got to tell you something. You know, this is weird to say, but this might be the best thing that ever happened to Jon Jones, because he seems like a completely different person. And, you know, the way he carries himself, the things that he's done. And then, boom, this happens, you know.
And just a point, where were you eating dinner?
What's that?
Where were you eating dinner?
Strip steak. I was at Strip Steak in Mandalay Bay, yeah.
Dana's over here.
All right, so Brock Lesnar now has the full stage to himself on Saturday in Las Vegas.
He has the shoulders for it.
He does.
He is a big man, but as you can tell, Dana White clearly not happy with his athlete and his fighter.
Chael Sonnen, he's in Vegas with Jonathan Coachman to cover the fight. He's going to join us on the phone. We'll get his reaction when this crazy sports center continues.